Hello everyone, this is Jake from CINECALIBER. In this video, I'm actually going to be reviewing the first two episodes of the new Star Wars show, The Acolyte. Just to kind of go over a brief introduction of this whole show. Basically, the show is made by showrunner Leslie Headland, and she's basically a protege of Kathleen Kennedy. And so, really, I from the get go, I have some mixed feelings about that. I'm not the biggest fan of Kathleen Kennedy. I think she's kind of ruined Star Wars with her own political mission to kind of incorporate her, I guess, political feelings in Star Wars, and it's kind of just ruined it for me. So I have to say, before I even watched these first two episodes, I had some serious doubts, as I'm sure a lot of people do as well. Um, but yeah, basically, we'll go over just like basically what this show's about before we get into the nitty gritty. So basically, the Acolyte is set at the end of the Star Wars franchise's High Republic era. So it's like approximately about 100 years before Episode One, The Phantom Menace. With Qui Gon and young Anakin and all that. It sees a respected Jedi Master investigating kind of a series of crimes that brings him into a contact with his former Padawan, and then they together learn that there's some sinister forces that have arrived, basically. So yeah, it sounds good. We're going into a new period of Star Wars. Which is what I've always wanted. But again, I'm just not sure if these people running the show are going to really be able to tackle that content as good as they could. But we're going to go into the review for episode 1, and here's the plot summary for that episode. A shocking crime occurs in a distant galaxy, prompting the Jedi Order to hunt for the prime suspect. So, we're going to go over what was a hit with this episode. So, the first 10 minutes were actually pretty epic. It was a great action-packed sequence for the most part, and there was the performance of the great Carrie Ann Moss. For those that don't know who she is, she plays Trinity in The Matrix. Everyone knows her from that. She also plays I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she plays a pretty big character in Jessica Jones, which I do like that show a lot. But what was ironic was that this fight scene kind of meshed with The Matrix, which ironically Carrie Ann Moss played in. So I like that scene. I thought it was really well done, choreographed very well. It really captivated your attention. Also, another thing I liked from this first episode, the show kind of goes like a whodunit show, kind of like a similar to a cop procedural show. That's the best way I could put it, as it tries to incorporate all these various mysteries and surrounding the antagonist and the protagonist, and and then characters trying to figure out. It's like a mystery, It's and I thought that was a nice touch for Star Wars. I've never really seen that before in it. Really, just the costume design. The costume design was really nice. I really liked how the Jedi's look, the starships and everything. You definitely do get a Star Wars vibe in this show, and we get I thought, some decent character introductions. I thought that this episode kind of just did a good job just establishing the characters right from the start. You have Amandla Steinberg. She plays Asha and May and Asaya. You have Lee Jung Jae. He's the main character in Squid Game, if anyone knows that show, but he plays Jedi Master Soul. Then you also have Charlie Barnett as Heward Fonder, Daphne Keene as Jackie Long, and then Rebecca Henderson as Vernestra Rowe. Those are the big players, I would say, in this episode. I really only know Lee Jung Jae from all them. I'm not sure if I've seen those other characters before. But I thought that they were established pretty well in this first episode, and that was really all that was a hit for this episode. Here we're gonna go into what was a miss, which was the bad. I really feel like the bad really, despite the show's best efforts, it doesn't give off a large scale like Star Wars should. It just doesn't feel epic, and that's why and I've been feeling this way since Disney Plus has kind of been releasing Star Wars content. I just no longer get that large scale feeling with Star Wars anymore. It's kind of sad. And I kind of wish that some way that they could finally bring that magic back and bring that feeling back, because that's what made me fall in love with this franchise. And I'm not getting it here. I haven't been getting it probably since the prequels, sadly. But really, and then I think another thing I didn't like about the show, just some unbelievable things that they kind of just throw in there. Like, you're really just going off the deep end. Like, I get it's like fiction, but like they had a scene where Asha was staring at a fire in space. Like, I don't think that's possible. Like, I know things can explode, but there's no way something's burning in space. I like a cooked campfire. Just it's kind of weird scene, just like a bit unbelievable. Like, they just kind of throw whatever at you, and we're not gonna notice, and then really, maybe this is just me being too critical, but like I just feel like they kind of jumped from planet to planet a bit too much in this, and they're all planets like I have no idea what they are besides Coruscant, and I just felt like that kind of just was a little, what the heck? Like, they did that in Mandalorian season 3, and I thought that was too a bit unbelievable. I feel like I feel like they get there really fast. Like, in the past, they were never getting there that fast. It took a whole hyperspeed, chase to get somewhere. Now it's like, oh, here. Like, I don't like it. It just doesn't vibe for me. And really, just the dialogue. I feel like this dialogue is so cheesy and just not very engaging. It's very hard for me to stay invested when the characters are talking to each other, because they don't seem like they're interested in what's going on. Definitely the best moments from this episode were the action sequences, which was that first 10 minutes. And it kind of showcases an early substance over style, which, I'm not the biggest fan of, let's put it like that. So, and without further ado, we're going to go into episode 2. So, here is the plot summary for episode 2. An assassin strikes again, but this time the Jedi are there to attempt capture. So, we're going to go into what was the good of this episode. Again, really kind of being a little bit redundant, but there was an ending action sequence in this episode between Jedi Master Soul and May Anasaya. It continues to be the highlight. Like, it has the Matrix flow to it, choreographed very well. They did a really good job with that sequence, and they're doing a very good job, like, just kind of portraying that action. I really thought action in Star Wars has been lacking since the prequels, so I'm glad that they're starting to kind of bring that back. I do like that there was a bit more screen time for some other characters, such as Yord and Jackie. We kind of just touch upon them in the first episode. I think that they kind of show what kind of style Jedi they are in this episode. Like, Yord's very by the book. Jackie's just eager to learn, kind of a rookie. And I like that they kind of just grew them a little bit more. I do like that they also added some good exposition for May's motives for why she's doing what she's doing. Like, she's basically, despite spoilers for people, she has some motives of vengeance, right, against Jedi Master Indara, Torben, Kalnaka, and Saul. We've only really met 2 of those characters so far. That kind of hint at the third one in there. I'm sorry, no, we actually do meet all of them in these first 2 episodes. Just we cover Saul and Indara the most. The other 2, they're kind of just briefly there. And then another highlight, I like there was this character. His name was Kimir. He's a little weird, but I don't know. I think I liked how, like, they portrayed him, and I think like he has some kind of mysterious link to May somehow. I'm hoping that they exploit that and maybe make it into an interesting character arc for him. So that was a hit for me in this episode. Now we're going to go into what was the bad, what was amiss. So, really, despite the exposition that they do for May's motives, I mean, once they show that, and they show, like, something happened to her. It kind of just feels a bit predictable. Like, once you hear like what she's doing and why, you're like, well, this is gonna tie into someone that we are watching. They don't make it very like they're trying to do a whodunit mystery, but like they're kind of just like, I guess, exposing with the mystery a little bit too much, or just not really hiding it well enough. And I just feel like you kind of know what's going to happen, or you kind of have a feeling of some twist that's going to happen because of the exposition they showed for May. And I don't know, it makes me like not want to be as excited for what's going to happen. That was one thing. The dialogue. I mean, the dialogue is continuing to be an issue for me. It's just not as engaging. I mean, we finally reunite Soul with Asha, and then being that they were a master and Padawan, and they had a past relationship, I just don't feel it. I mean, it just doesn't feel very authentic. Now, I don't know how long they were Padawan and Master, but like, there's just no believability. I just feel like they're just kind of strangers meeting and just trying to figure out this, mystery. Again, it's only been an episode, but I'm just not getting, and again, I'm not feeling it. I'm not getting Qui-Gon Obi-Wan vibes. I'm not getting Obi-Wan and Anakin vibes. I'm just not getting it. So, and I really hope that changes over the course of the show. So, and then another thing that was kind of weird, like, I really like the introduction of Jedi Master Torben, which is one of the Jedi that May is getting vengeance on. He was really interesting at first. He had this, like, weird, cool Force meditation that he was doing. But then, like, they squandered it. They kind of just used him as a typical plot point rather than an interesting character, which, hello, didn't we not learn not to do that with General Snoke? Oh, I'm sorry, with Supreme Snoke in The Last Jedi? Like, I don't understand, but again, Kathleen Kennedy is at it again, just doing what she wants and just not really listening to the fans and thinking she's all crafty when really she's just squandering what could be some really great potential. And I don't, I'm not for it. So, I mean, conclusion wise, you guys will be shocked, actually. The first two episodes, they're okay. It's an okay start to a new chapter in Star Wars, but it just doesn't captivate me, or it's not captivating the audience's attention as well as it could. It just has too much reliance on action sequences, this lack of characterization, and then just some questionable dialogue. But I would say if I were to rate this show for now, I would say right now it's just maybe a 3 out of a 5. It hasn't really wowed me, but I'm hoping that will change as the show progresses. So, but that was all I had for the first 2 episodes of The Acolyte. As always, please comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts were for this show if you have seen it. And yeah, that is it. And everyone have a great night or day where you're at. And this is Jake from CINECALIBER.